Hi, welcome to the workshop. Today I've got a review for you.
The Axminster Rider Sharpening Station Kit.
One of which is up for grabs in Halliward 15. Whether it's planes, chisels or knives, every woodworker should know how to sharpen and they should have the correct kit to do it with. So let's get down to business. The station itself is made of a thick, hard plastic, very durable, that'll last a lifetime. We stick onto that the leather strop and we place into it the rubberized base with the double-sided diamond stone on it. Now I've added a couple of things here that you may be able to see. I've got a piece of plastic, thin strip of plastic underneath the rubberized base. Without that it's really quite difficult to grab hold of and lift out. And of course you need to, because you need to rinse it off regularly and keep it dry. I've also placed another piece of plastic in here. It just goes under the edge of the rubberized base. That covers up my strop whilst I'm working on the stone to avoid any metal particles or also any water that I spray on as a lubricant from getting on the strop. So let me show you quickly how it's used. The base comes with some carefully machined ridges in here which help to align the Eclipse style guide, which Axminster also sell, and the blade to set up for different angles. And you'll see here that I've set this block plane blade up for 30 degrees. I simply put the guide against the edge of the station and slide the blade up until it touches the 30-degree ridge. This is set up on this end for planes with 25 degrees, 30 degrees and 45 degrees. The other end of the board is set up for chisels at 25 degrees and 30 degrees. But bear in mind, you can also use these with plane blades to get you something which is between 30 and 45. So that gives you another couple of options. I haven't measured what the exact angles are, but you may find them quite handy. And of course, by using this setup method, you can be consistent with every bevel you create. Once you've tightened up your Eclipse guide, you can then go over to the stone. The stone is a 400 grit on one side and 1000 on the other. You'd use the 400 for the primary bevel and for getting rid of nicks in the edge of the blade. Then you'd flip the stone over and do your secondary bevel on the 1000 grit. For most resharpenings, of course, you'd come straight to the 1000, just a few strokes to touch up the blade, and then you can go over to the strop. First of all, a quick spritz of water as a lubricant. There are other lubricants around. Water's fine as long as you dry your stone out afterwards. I like to switch around, so I'm using the whole of the stone. And depending on how much pressure you use, you'll have created a burr by now on the back of the blade. And you can take that off by dragging off the side of the stone. Then you need to dry carefully before moving on to the strop. Before you use the strop for the first time, you use some of this honing compound. Just rub it on, and you'll need to recharge every so often. The leather holds a lot of this, which is an advantage over the MDF honing which I've normally been doing. Then you just place the heel of the bevel on the strop, raise it up to the primary bevel, a little bit higher so you go slightly beyond the secondary bevel, drag it back with lots of pressure, flip it over, place it flat on the strop and put it off. It's as simple as that. What do I think of the system? Well, let's look at the diamond stone first of all, and let me just dry it off. Now, I did check this before I'd used it at all, before there was any residue on it, and I can tell you that I couldn't get a 1/1000th of an inch feeler gauge underneath the straight edge. So you're getting a nice flat diamond plate. It cuts really well. You can see how thick that is. It's not going to deflect, so you can put plenty of pressure on, and the more pressure you put on, the quicker it's going to cut. The strop itself comes separately on a nice solid base, nice and flat again. what looks like a reasonably good piece of leather on there. It holds the compound really well. There's no deflection when I use it. And the compound seems to do a good job of polishing up the micro bevel and the back of the blade. Let's just look at the station layout. The indents for setting up the Eclipse guide, brilliant. I use a similar system myself, have done for years. Here's the most recent one I made. Piece of hardboard, little strips of pine on there, just giving you the right measurements for every angle. Great idea, it's been around for ages. To actually include it within the base of the sharpening station, you know, thumbs up. I don't know why they suggest putting the strop in the middle here, because that puts it close to the diamond plate where you're going to be using a lubricant, and I personally wouldn't want to get the lubricant onto the strop. So if you get one of these, my suggestion is take off this sticky label that tells you how to use it, put the strop right over on this side away from the diamond plate. The position of the diamond plate is great, raises it up off the bench, so if you've got a big handle on the tool that you're trying to sharpen, it's not going to come anywhere near the bench top and you can work it nicely. Underneath we've got 4 rubber feet which really stop it moving around the bench. Is it worth what Axminster are asking for it? Well, let's just think. We've got what appears to be a good quality diamond plate in a non-slip base. We've got what appears to be a good quality strop. We've got some honing compound, and then we've got this great little station that's got the benefit of easy setup for an Eclipse style guide. It's also lovely and solid, keeps these lovely and flat, easy to transport on and off your bench. So I think on balance it's probably around about the right price.
And the results? Well, they speak for themselves.
So if you like what you've seen, head over to the Axminster website and check it out online. And if you're really quick, you've still got time to enter into Hallowed 15 for a chance to win one of these. Cheerio!